As I packed for our Maldives holiday, I felt exhausted and snappy because I was drained. I was barely holding everything together and I had zero mental space left because of too many deadlines, decisions, and expectations. The end of year stress was crushing me. Then I was hit with that awful travel experience and something inside me broke. Nothing dramatic, I just felt defeated. Like I will be living the same life over and over forever because nothing ever changes, right? You know, it's funny. I've been looking forward to this holiday for months, counting down the days, daydreaming about being back on an island and finally having time to relax, just to do nothing. But when we got there, I was anxious. Here I was on a supposed paradise island in the Maldives and I was anxious. I was actually anxious about doing nothing. My body was on vacation, but my mind was still at home. I was still in survival mode, running through the things that I needed to do. I kept checking my phone and planning the next video, all because of habit. You know, opening apps, closing them, jumping to the next one, closing it, just to check. On day 2, we took a boat to one of those islands that you see on Pinterest. And I took my laptop with to upload that day's experience that same afternoon. But sometime that day, I realized that I'd forgotten how to rest and live in the present moment. My body didn't know how to be still and comfortable anymore. I've shared before how I don't make New Year's resolutions because I don't want to disappoint myself, and also how I just cruise through life unaware most days. But these past few months, I've been learning how to help women navigate their lives better. And this is a lot of what I've been thinking of while I was on holiday. Maybe you're like me. Maybe you've noticed that even your rest is productive. Listening to podcasts while folding laundry or planning tomorrow while trying to fall asleep. Even our downtime has become another task. We've become so good at surviving our days that we've forgotten what living it feels like. For myself, when December comes around, I think that next year will be different, but I don't actually know how to make a difference. While on holiday and by accident, I had a lot of Wi Fi free time to reflect on this past year and all my blessings and for what I want from the next year. And yes, I realize that 5 days of very little internet or responsibilities is not everybody's possession this December, but it created this aha light bulb moment that I want to share with you. But first, while on the island, there was stretches of time where we didn't have Wi-Fi available, and this left me uncomfortable because I had to sit with myself. This self-interaction was unlearned behavior and very uncomfortable at first. But the more I did it, the better it felt. And I want to share this with you because coming home, I can feel that my soul is happier. When I finally became comfortable with that intentional time, no matter how short it was, I could objectively reflect on my life for the first time in years. And surprisingly, the constant fog of exhaustion lifted enough for me to realize that I'd been living without any intention at all, just reacting and just surviving. And this is the theme for my life. I live unaware, reacting to situations instead of being fully aware and intentional with my actions. We know this. I've shared this a couple of times. I also had the realization again that planning isn't about adding more to your plate. Real planning is about protecting your space and your reality, building memory making moments today with your children and your life partner that will carry us through the darkest of time. So here's the big revelation: plan downtime, no matter how short it is or how insignificant it might be. Or maybe I should rename it to intentional time. This is a simple action that can be very complicated to achieve. For instance, if you're a busy mama of little ones, you don't have a lot of time between making snacks and cooking the next meal, but planning intentional downtime is the secret. Here's what I discovered about planning intentional downtime on my holiday. It's not about the amount, It's about the intention. 5 minutes of real presence beats an hour of scrolling while trying to rest. While on holiday, I started really small and, you would have guessed, unintentionally. For example, we planned when we were going to exercise, swim, or even go for a meal. This was planned time without internet, so it meant being present in that moment, talking to Andrew, or daydreaming about stuff. It sounds simple, but when last did you do that? Just uninterrupted interaction with a person you love or your own thoughts. We're conditioned to think that downtime is spent alone in a beautiful setting while you have nothing to think about. But I'm here to say that if your life does not allow for that in this season, then your downtime could look like putting your phone away and really playing along with the kids, or just sitting in your car for 3 minutes after grocery shopping before driving home. Just sitting there, nothing else, not planning dinner or what you could fit in next. Just 3 minutes of intentional nothing. Or maybe it's having morning coffee in a different spot, perhaps outside or by a window, anywhere that will break the autopilot pattern for you. This intentional downtime allowed me to reflect while we were flying back from holiday. I realized that 2025 looked different because we had to plan most of it. We had to plan our exit from the Cayman. We had to plan our entry into Dubai. And after that, I broke my months into small personal challenges because of my new YouTube channel. This gave the overall year a purpose and a direction. We set broad personal goals at the beginning, like this holiday, and we achieved them. This was so different from all the other years where December holidays were spent at home, doing what I always do, just not having to worry about getting up for work. Back then, I didn't have a plan or personal goals for the upcoming year, and I think this is neither right nor wrong. But I do think that it kept me in grief and overwhelmed a bit longer than needed. Now, listen, if you're in a season where even this feels like too much, then that's okay. Sometimes we need to just survive, and that's enough. Please don't feel guilty for doing nothing. But to be intentional about taking that break should be just that, intentional. And it should have an end date in mind, even if it is to reevaluate your position at the end of the new year. Now, for the rest of us that is not overly ambitious about reaching specific life goals and more about surviving our current life season, for those of us that would like to live more intentional rather than to have our daily lives throwing us around, we need to plan our intentional living moments for the time being, and hopefully one day soon you will wake up and find yourself on an island with time to just reflect. Now, I'm not saying that you need a Maldives vacation to figure this out. What I am saying is that this uncomfortable holiday forced me to see what I'd been avoiding. I'd been so busy surviving that I forgot to plan for living. I'd forgotten that real and present connection with the people we love is what actually recharges us. So here's my action step. Pick one moment in a day where you can practice being present instead of productive. Maybe it could be your morning coffee, or trying to eat dinner with the family, or actively and presently playing with the kids for a short while each day. I can almost promise you that you will feel recharged after your intentional downtime. And if you missed my horrible travel day to our Maldives holiday, have a look at it. I will have it on the screen for you to watch next. I've never been as scared as I was that day on the ferry. And remember, we're not chasing perfection here. We are chasing peace, one intentional moment at a time. Because it is possible for you to fall in love with your life again. Until next time, enjoy living life. Bye.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so.